There we go. We should be live from now on. So, welcome everyone to the YouTuber slash streamer panel. I'm UPixel. I'm not a YouTuber myself, but I'm gonna be here to help host the panel, make sure everything's going all right. So today we have three amazing people here with you to talk a bit about how it is being a YouTuber and streamer. We're going to have some questions and answers later. And generally, it's just going to be a chill time for people. So I hope you enjoy. So let's do some introductions. PearlescentMoon, first of all. Do
Ah.
you want to say hi?
Hello, my name is Pearl. Lovely to meet you. Of course, I'm always first here. Did you?
Uh, okay, it's back again. That was weird. Well, we can probably use the first clip from that. That was unexpected, but hey, mistakes are going to happen. Anyway, yes. Pearl, continue.
Okay. Do you want me to just say about my channel or anything like that, or what I do?
I mean, yeah, just a little bit of an introduction of yourself.
Yeah, fair. All right. I've been playing Minecraft since 2014. Lovely console. I think I started YouTube around maybe two-ish years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. Just after I started working with Korean, and I don't know, I love building organics, but every now and then I might try some structures, and I kinda record those and stick them on YouTube for people to watch, so it's my type of content.
Yeah, sick. And so for our second guest, we have Shanooty.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Shanooty. I'm from New Zealand, and uh, I create building videos. Mostly just time lapses. Um, how I got into content creation was actually because of Pearl. I came across her channel probably 3 years ago now, just when she was starting out, and that inspired me to try to create my channel as well.
That's really
Yeah.
cool to hear. Same.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's epic. Well, all right, cool. So final guest as well, we have FCD, of course. Want to say hi?
Hello, how's it going? I'm FamilyCraftDad. I'm recently going to be changing my name to FC Creations now because of the wonderful Kappa, but we won't talk about that.
That's for another panel.
Yeah, that's for another panel entirely. And also we don't know what it's gonna be, it's gonna be crazy. But anyway, I got started because my son said, "Hey, we should start a YouTube channel," and I thought it'd be a fun idea. He was 7 years old at the time, and it was going to be a cute little channel. And that's why the name that I have. And I ended up on Mumbo's Patreon server, Mumbo Jumbo, and that's actually where I got my start. It wasn't until about a year and a half, almost 2 years later, that I started doing more massive creative builds for different contests and stuff, and I just got into it. And now that's all my channel does, is mostly these big old creative builds. So that's kind of cool.
Right. Sick. I don't really think I should be introducing myself too much, but I'm UPixel, like I said. I don't really do streaming or YouTube myself, but I mainly used to builder. But I think that, well, I'm looking forward to this panel at least. Like I said, we've got quite a few interesting things to bring up. So I hope all of you are going to enjoy. But let's see. I don't know. What do you guys want to start with, really?
I mean, we've got, what is it we actually do on this little document handy thing. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly on the note thing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point to start with. So talk a bit about what you actually do when you do streaming YouTube, maybe outside of that too.
Well, I know. I start with hoping my internet works, which it hasn't been lately. But whenever we go and make a video, we kind of come up with an idea of what we want to do, and for me, that includes like maybe writing down a few ideas, bouncing them around each other, then finding my inspiration, sketching that out, building it, editing it, and then uploading it. But of course, a lot of those are really long processes, but my ideas are always just light bulb moments. And, you typically look at, what everyone might be interested in, or sometimes I just like, hey, I feel like making a giant spider with mushrooms out of its back, and then I'll make it. So kind of my idea process, and definitely like to sketch what I'm making. So kind of my little process. And you need things like OBS to record your screen, and I personally use Premiere Pro to edit my videos. So that's kind of the process that I follow, for me at least.
Yeah,
and
it's really cool.
when what we actually do, building is probably just half the process. We do spend quite a bit of time trying to get replay mod to work correctly at times, and that involves just waiting on long render times for our shots to be ready to edit, and then trying to work out how to market our video to the YouTube audience.
I remember doing replay mod back in the day, and it crashed on me so hard, so I didn't use it for a good 2 years. Because I'd lost pretty much all the progress on the build. So there's definitely those moments where things happen, you lose all your progress, and then you've got to ditch the project because it can't be uploaded. So
Yeah, there are a lot of those moments.
Yeah, my experience with the replay mod was I got into it right away, and in 1.8, and then when 1.9 came around, he realized just how much Crush Pixel, the guy who was making it, realized how much work it was going to be to update it in the way it was currently, and so he remade the entire thing for 1.9, which meant about 4 months of no replay mod. And at that time, I based 90% of my content on replay mod. So that was a weird few months for me.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do without replay? I became too reliant on it. It was just the opposite of Pearl.
could use Bowercam or an alt account.
Well, yeah, but it was such a pain to do.
I know. I've realized, I've started using it recently, and it is pretty handy to just get on the server and build instead of going, okay, I need OBS open, I need to set up my alt in a location, I need to make sure the rotations of Bowercam are exactly in a circle so that it rotates around precisely for a time-lapse version. It was a pain to set up, and you couldn't just join the server. It was always just set it all up, and that's where it kind of killed part of my motivation sometimes. But I'm using replay now, and it's great. So just hoping it doesn't crash like it did before.
Yeah. I actually work with Crush Pixel now as well, because he works for Nox Crew as one of the programmers. So yeah, I met him recently, and we had a lot of chat about replay mode, because obviously he works with multiple big YouTubers. And we talked about the past, like you said, FCD, about that time when he had to remake the entire thing, and just what a pain it's been. The process of people, the most annoying thing, which probably goes for any mod maker, is when 10 people ask for oh, when's the 1 point blah version coming out, when the update came out 1 week ago, and just general. If you're a programmer and if you make mods, that's probably one of the most annoying things you can be asked. Hey, I want this version out now, please. Even though it released yesterday, they just expect you to be able to, appropriate the mod to that version instantly. But yeah, he's a very nice guy in general.
It's difficult. At that time, the reason why it was rough for me was my content was mostly survival based, and on YouTube, you got to be right on top of the version updates when you're doing that kind of content. That's one of the nice things of doing creative content. I can do most of my stuff in 1.12 just fine if I need to. Though I do like my my lanterns and campfires.
Campfires.
They're very nice.
1.14 is
Cozy.
brilliant.
Oh, it's so nice.
I have to build on 1.12 for my current project, and it's just there's no campfires, there's no atmosphere, it's all static.
Yep.
and it's missing so many blocks, and even the difference from 1.13 to 1.14 is so big.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
amazing.
textures as well are such a big difference. I personally
Yeah.
love them. I know it can be a bit of a, oh, I don't like it, or I like it. There's a really big argument about if they're good or not. But I love them. I certainly love building with them.
Yeah,
It's
change is
especially going to be.
always
Oh, yeah.
difficult, but I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be weird now that 1.15 used to release as well. The beasts are probably going to be one of those things that, once you don't have them anymore, once you have to go back, you're going to miss them so much because they're so adorable. But yeah, definitely. There's a lot of things that they managed to squeeze into all the recent updates. It's
I'm
really
looking
weird when you.
forward
Yeah,
to 1.15 with the new blocks. I mean,
yeah.
is it 1.15? No, 1.16, sorry. The Nether
Yeah, the
update?
Nether updates. Yeah.
That
That's
would be
going to be really
amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna add a bunch of blocks too. I'm really excited about the new tree blocks, the tree bark. That looks really, really cool. Like I already thought of 1,000 different things I could use that for. I'm like, yeah, I want it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also a thing. Like, it must be because most when it comes to building in, of course, replay mode and such, it's kind of limiting, of course, when the new updates have so many new cool things, and you have to be able to think of so many cool things, but then you're kind of limited when you're building in creative to take so many steps back. But yeah. But so yeah, anyway, let's actually let's talk a bit about the journey though that all of you have had in some way or another. It's probably very different for everyone. But I know that, for example, Pearl, you mentioned that you started YouTube and streaming as soon as or when you joined in with Brian, right?
It was not necessarily. I was building with him for, I don't know, probably at least a month or two. I can't quite remember how long it was, but I basically noticed that my YouTube channel was, people were subscribing and I had no content up there that was actually good. It was very embarrassing. So I decided to make at least a few videos to be like, hey guys, there's at least some content on here that isn't terrible and you're not subscribing for nothing. So it kind of gave me a reason to upload. I've always been wanting to, but like it just gave me that little push like, hey, people are seeing nothing on your channel and it looks terrible. Just upload. So I did. And it's been pretty fun,
Yeah.
I've just been building this whole time and unfortunately things come up and I have to do some work, so my channels gets a little quiet at moments for me. But I've got some time in December now, so I'm doing a little bit of content making for Christmas. Should be fun. My journey's been
Awesome.
a roller coaster though. There's been so many things going on and yeah, bring on 2020. I'm
I
so
think that's the
excited.
case for most content creators, especially with the way YouTube and I don't know how it is with Twitch, but YouTube has a lot of mood changes of how it wants to
Oh,
be,
it
if it
does,
wants to be
yeah.
kind or not.
It's
Uh,
it's brutal sometimes and you can pour your heart out onto a video with so many hours and it'll completely flop. And that's part of it where you have to kind of just, pull yourself back up again. It can get a little depressing at times when something might not perform as well as you thought it would because the algorithm won't pick it up as it should. It won't push it out to sub boxes. It won't notify anyone, even if they have a bell ticked. So it's a pain in the butt sometimes.
yeah.
But it's always one that you do it because you love it. You make what you want because you love making it, and that keeps you going basically. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, recently YouTube has done quite a big flop that people have reacted to called, I think it's Copa, right?
copper, yeah.
Yeah, which is essentially that if your content is directed towards kids, in quotation, I think I don't know how much less you make and how much you supposedly get fined for doing certain things? I
I
know
think it's
that
like
FCD.
42,000 if you
Yeah,
get called out for doing it. But there has been a big everyone's been confused about where exactly it's targeting. A lot of
yeah,
people think family friendly means kid targeted, that is not the case.
yeah,
Um, so it's specifically like if you put in bright colors, really popping characters, just anything that's specifically targeted for kids, like for really young kids. If you put in like really kiddie music, like you would for, um, say, what's a good example of an old cartoon? Like SpongeBob SquarePants, right? It's made
yeah.
specifically for kids. But then you've got things like anime, right? And
Hmm.
that stuff isn't targeted for kids specifically. It's people think it's for younger audiences, but it still isn't targeted for them. That you've got gore, you've got violence, you've got maturity in it. It's just
Yeah,
And that's the
absolutely.
difficult and the challenging part. The reason why things are a bit up in the air and a bit difficult, because there are people in power that don't get that. They see cartoon and think kids. They see Minecraft and think kids.
what I'm
And
concerned about is they're saying that they're gonna put an Autobot in, an auto moderator
right.
bot, which is very risky, like, we're all concerned about it.
Well,
We know,
yeah.
like, we've been told Minecraft doesn't mean you're gonna get caught out by the copper.
Right, but
Um,
it's probably
yeah,
one step in that direction if you
exactly,
have other things.
yeah. I understand, like, your concern, OCD, because you had FamilyCraftDad and
Yeah. Yeah,
it
I couldn't keep FamilyCraftDad in my
yeah.
name, and I was
It
like,
obviously
"Oh."
means, like, you include kids in your channel, right? Even though you haven't included your son for a reasonable amount of time. And, of course, it's not all your videos, but they're still gonna be like, "Hey, Family Craft Dad, is this copper?"
Yup.
YouTube is
Yeah,
a concerning place.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's
It's
always a
very, very weird.
coaster.
Yeah, it's a very unstable platform to be creating content on.
Yeah, and like FCD mentioned quickly that they also have like the people in the major up scenes really don't seem to know what the actual platform is about. Um, like for example, if you guys want to talk about it for a bit, we can have the YouTube Rewind as an example. This year again turned out to be a little bit less of a flop, but still quite a big of a flop.
I think whatever they do, people are gonna dislike it. It's like a
Yeah,
trend for
it's a bit of a
YouTube now,
meme.
right? And they're just like,
Yeah.
"Okay, new one's out, everyone dislike it no matter what they do." I
Hmm.
don't think they're ever going to make it a higher like ratio again. They've just
No,
ruined that for themselves.
that's way past now. It's
Yeah.
all in the past history.
I mean, this year
What?
is like they did okay, but the editing, it was a little bit different in terms that they just reviewed stats, which IMO
Yeah,
was a little bit less entertaining than, say, watching what they believe was the year,
yeah,
what we were all interested in instead of just saying, "Hey, here's some stats of some really popular videos that happen to get caught by the algorithm." You know?
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
it
It's
is what it
always
is.
like a tiny bit of disconnect in a way.
Mm. I believe it was, Ruben, that's correct. The most disliked video on YouTube in 2018.
Yep.
Right. So let's see, Shanooty, what about your experience? Because I know you have like Pearl and FCD. Personally, I know you guys focus more on building a bit, and some of you do a bit more of the survival aspect. Shanooty, you have focused mainly on showcasing new things by doing kind of cinematic things, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
So
yeah,
yeah,
when
go
I
on.
first started out, yeah, I was watching Pearl create her videos, and I I just wanted to try record myself building one day, and I just kind of got hooked on that just by setting up my alt account and just recording from afar. But yeah, slowly moved over to the replay mod, which was just a savior. It saves so much time and um, setup before building, which can be quite a drag.
Yeah, if you used me as an example to start out, I'm dreading to think what you decided to start out like.
Yeah. um, but yeah, my channel took off very unexpectedly, and very quickly, which was a bit of a shock, and that did push me to push out lots of videos. But over my YouTube career, that's just led me to burn out. And as people who've watched my channel know, that I take very long breaks at times. Like I just took a 10-month break because I just got burnt out of pushing out videos. But yeah, I enjoy the editing part mostly that I found. It's just the building part
Can we
on
switch?
my part.
I usually like it the other way around.
Yeah,
Editing
yeah,
is the drag.
yeah.
Maybe you should do a collaboration sometime to get a bit of both in that mix. Be nice.
I have a few collaboration ideas lined up at the moment. Very excited about.
All
Can't say
right.
much more than
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, I remember seeing it was quite funny because both on YouTube, I know I was subscribed to you at the time, but it was very unexpected to see one of those Minecraft videos pop up, and they had I don't know how many views that one video has about the portal, I think, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
popped out in the algorithm, and I saw it like over 1 million views, and you said your name under it. I was like, wait, hold on. But
yeah.
yeah,
I wasn't too happy about that because that was still when I was first starting out on YouTube, and I had really bad audio quality, and YouTube really pushed all my old videos with bad audio, which I'm pretty disappointed about.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's very frustrating.
yeah,
I remember that.
Like, why push the new content that it has more quality, and you learn from when you can just push the old stuff. YouTube, of course. But yeah, no, I remember that was really fun. I think I even saw you on Snapchat ad as well once, like a Minecraft, or like it was some gaming top 10 creations in this month or this year, and you popped out there too. So you definitely took off really fast. But it's really, I think that's one of the cool things about about YouTube, is that even though it doesn't happen often, sometimes YouTube likes to use pushing, sometimes use random stuff in the algorithm, and blow people up essentially, which sometimes creates a great passion to do things, and for some people, like even jobs and careers and such. So it's definitely a cool thing. But yeah, so FCD, how about you talk a bit about your journey? Because I imagine that looks a bit different to your situation.
Oh man, it was a wild ride. This, like I said, I started out because my kid wanted me to try it out, and I started and I didn't like it because it was like he was 7 at the time. It was hard to try to create good quality content with a 7-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And so I just kind of stopped, and then Exuma decided to showcase the replay mod. It was still in beta, and I fell in love with it instantly. I was like, "Oh, that looks amazing! I can do a lot with that." Because I have a background. I've played with Blender for years before I started Minecraft, and so I understand camera angles and stuff like that. And so I was instantly interested, but I didn't have anything to work with. Well, not too long after, Mumbo Jumbo decided he started a Patreon server, so I decided I would give it a go, try to do content on there just for fun. And that's what really kicked it off for me. I stuck to once a week videos, and that's how I got started, just making basic let's plays. And the way I ended up doing creative builds, and this is an interesting story. Basically, I wanted to try to run events between different Patreon servers, and it started out as like a PvP thing. Well, one time I decided the second month we ran it, I decided we would do like a big build battle, because why not? I had just got started messing around with voxel sniper. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and that was the only thing I ever messed with before with creative building, beyond just regular creative. And so I did whatever I could to start building up a server to run this thing. Me and my friend Red Jambo, and yeah, once we created that, it was like a week-long event, and we just hit the ground running, and it was so much fun to build in that scale. And I instantly fell in love with it. And slowly but surely, over the course of about a year of doing these events and stuff, my channel slowly went from Let's Plays to I'd much rather do creative builds because this is fun, and then I started trying to do organics and stuff like that, where I made, tried to make people in Minecraft. And that was a trip. I gave it a go thanks to Builder's Refuge. I was like, oh, that's what everyone wants to do there, so I'm going to give it a go. And I love it. I love doing it. One of the downsides of content creation, though, is you have to pay attention to the winds as they're blowing. And sadly, the concept of making these gigantic organics don't sell very well, so to speak, on YouTube. And a lot of it, I believe, is because people prefer things that are a little more accessible, stuff that they think they can do too if they tried hard enough. And organics are like so above and beyond, like mind's blown. Like this doesn't even feel like Minecraft anymore. And so as a content creator, finding that balance between allowing yourself to express yourself through art, but also catering to what people actually want to see, it's a challenge. And Pearl can and Shanooty both, they both tell you, we've chatted on several occasions talking about this sort of thing, this balance between YouTube content creation and just the straight art of it. And you got to have it, because if I just did everything 100%, go with the winds of YouTube and just, I would burn out. I would get bored and I'd get tired of it, you know? But if I just 100% did whatever the heck I wanted to do, who cares what everyone thinks? It also puts me in a spot where I'm never going to grow and there wouldn't be people to look at the cool stuff I'm building. So it's this weird balance. And that's what I've been trying to figure out over the course of about a year and a half. And and still allowing myself to be creative every now and again, even if it doesn't get the numbers I want, because it's not about the numbers. But like I said, there's a business side of YouTube too. You have to get the job done sometimes,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like doing the structure builds and stuff like that. They're just, it's less what's the word for it? Rewarding. When you make a big organic, as you're making it, you see massive things happening, huge, big old things. When you're making a structure build, especially if you choose to do interiors, you can spend weeks on something and not see a darn change on the exterior. Even though the build is more complete, it doesn't feel like you've got much done as compared to doing a big old organic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a challenge sometimes, sticking to the structures, but it's rewarding in its own way. So my journey is that of just wading the waters and seeing how things are going. It's not just YouTube either. I've been, like I said, I ran those events for a little while between the servers. I'm now part of the marketplace as well, Minecraft marketplace, and been trying to get a build going. Actually, we have one that's about to release soon, I hope. So I'm really excited about that. But and that'll be our first one out there. So yeah,
Oh, that's really sick.
yeah, I'm quite excited about that. But yeah, balancing it all it's a juggling act. It is.
Can I actually ask, that thing on the marketplace, is that with you? Because you still have you have a team, right, by yourself? So is it via that team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, BTWN is the name of the team. Yes, it means build team without a name.
That name. Remember that. It's quite. I like it. Well, that's really cool.
We joined BuildCon last year, if I remember right, as a build team just for fun.
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
weren't partnered yet at that point. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. Good luck on that, man. Hope that goes
Yeah,
well.
thanks.
I know the marketplace can be. It's also the marketplace is also one of those things which is kind of weird, like YouTube, because you're trying to sell something to people, and it's always hard to know what's being pushed. Like for those of you who don't know, back in the early days of the marketplace, there was a team called Pixel Heads, and they released a map about living in the city, and that map blew up so much they made a huge amount of money from that, and everyone tried to follow it. So the marketplace has kind of like drawn in the way that YouTube works, where it's kind of you have to guess what works and see what's being active and such. But they made some improvements to make sure that everyone has a fair chance.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
a challenge for on their end,
Yeah, absolutely. I see that we have quite a lot of people now, actually, which is that's really fun. For those of you who joined in recently, welcome.
The
Hi.
the Twitch stream is not actually running.
No, yeah, I realized that. So I
And
think what's
the
going to
link
happen
you
is
use for some reason is going to the wrong Discord. So I've been doing a little bit of advertising around, try to get the
really?
word out.
Wait, stats on.
It's the right letters, but for some reason the discord.gg didn't point to the right place, which is weird. Yep.
Because that's weird. That's the one we used for everything else. But all right. Well,
But anyway,
anyways,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
no, absolutely. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, but we're recording the audio, so we're going to be able to post that so people can listen back if they want to. But what was I saying? We have quite a lot of people now, so I think we might as well get started with just a few questions to start rolling in that we can kind of list up and see what people, what they want to hear us talk about, what they want to hear you guys talk about. So if you all have any questions, you can send them in probably voice chat or general. If you're on the Discord, you can type some stuff there. We have a few points that we're probably going to talk about anyway. If you have anything that you're wondering about, anything you want to hear about, make sure to type it in there. But now, let's while we get some questions rolling in, let's start with one that we actually had. So how about we start with platforms? Because I know that most of you use YouTube as your main platform. Some of you have experience with Twitch. Have any of you had experience with other platforms? For example, I know Mixer is one as well, which is kind of new and upcoming. And what's the benefits and what's the downsides of the things you use currently?
Well, I haven't personally used Mixer. I've used Twitch. Twitch and YouTube kind of are like an engaged couple, right? One is for streaming and one is typically for video uploading. They share some things. You can stream on YouTube and you can upload videos on Twitch, but typically Twitch is a lot better for streaming in terms of engagement wise, or people can see who's online for their streamer list, like right on the side panel. Whereas with YouTube, you've got your video uploading, and it's not always the most reliable when it comes to you've uploaded your video and people don't see it. So the other thing is though with Twitch, my community isn't on Twitch, so it's a lot harder to kind of get started over there. Um, and vice versa. I assume a Twitch person might struggle to get started on YouTube, and constantly I've been asked, like, if I pop into a Twitch stream every now and then, people are saying like, "Oh, how do I get started on YouTube from my Twitch channel?" And it's still pretty hard to start up. And the only thing is, some people get better results with Twitch in terms of performance and buffer and things like that, whereas with YouTube, uh, some people have issues watching and it just doesn't work out too well. But I personally prefer YouTube just in terms of I can upload my videos. They're going to be there the whole time. They're a lot easily accessible. As much as YouTube's algorithm can be a pain in the butt sometimes, it it does sometimes also push older videos, and it ends up being more beneficial. So when it comes to uploading videos on Twitch, it doesn't really push them. It only pushes streams. So it kind of really depends what kind of content you want to make. You know, casual streaming is perfectly fine for Twitch. I would recommend starting on Twitch. But it's still fine if you want to do both, and you can just do YouTube, and you've got both of those at hands there. So it really depends on personal preference and what you want to do. For videos, YouTube. For the streaming, Twitch, But is what I've seen. I've also noticed that the chat vibe is very vastly different when it comes to the different platforms. Like with YouTube, you can have 500 people watching, and the chat will just go so fast that you'll struggle to keep up with it at all costs. Whereas I've seen on Twitch, sorry, that you can have 500 people watching, and it'll be as if you have 10 people watching on YouTube. So slow. I just don't understand the difference there, but it's yet also some have witnessed it vice versa for some reason. It's a bit strange. But general consensus is that I've seen that Twitch chats are a lot slower than YouTube for some reason.
Yeah, and for people who don't know what platform to get into, definitely try them all, and see what one you like the best, and for what content you create. That's the only real advice that I can give about what platform you should try get into. Because
yeah, absolutely.
you might not think you'd want to stream and want to push out videos, but you won't know that until you try it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Streaming is really good for engaging the audience. Like
Yeah.
for me, because some of us, we haven't uploaded in months, but streaming will keep the engagement, and it's easy to do, right? You just start a stream, you do it for a couple hours, you're done, right? It really depends whether you're comfortable talking to a live audience. In my opinion, like I can talk to a live audience just fine on Twitch, but when it comes to on stream, but when it comes to in real life with people in front of me, not
Yeah.
a chance. So, yeah. Streaming is fun.
One thing I will say is no matter which, like I agree with everything Pearl's saying. Twitch is built for streaming, obviously, and YouTube's built for video. So whichever your priority is, the one that you're pushing, that's the platform you're gonna, focus on. And then if you're just gonna stream every now and again, just keep doing it on YouTube because that's where your people are at. Whereas if you're primarily streaming and you're just putting out a bot or two of interesting stuff, then you're gonna want to be on Twitch. But the one thing I want to say is no matter which platform you get on, um, you're gonna be starting out slow. Don't base which platform you like better on response from people because you're not gonna get much of a response. Base it on how you felt while doing it. Do you enjoy the creative process of coming up with a video and doing cuts and doing all the work to try to keep it, exciting for a video, and you edit it and you put it out there? If that was fun for you, do that. If that's tedious and you'd rather not have to deal with all that and you'd rather just hang out with people, maybe Twitch is a better option. But in the beginning, you're not going to have the kind of response you're going to be, oh, this is going to be fun, I want to get in there and get to talk with people. There's been streams, I know some people who started out streaming, you'll sit there and it's you talking to yourself for an hour before someone starts showing up. It can be challenging. The best way to do it though is to have some friends going in. If you have a small community that you spend a lot of time with online, get talking with them, get to be a part of, enjoying time with them. And then when you go to do something, they'll back you up. And that's the biggest thing to get started. But yeah, either platform you go with, realize it's a climb. You have to work at it. It's not going to be amazing right out the gate.
I believe some hermitcraft people use Twitch as well, and it works out for them. But if you've got a really big head start on YouTube, that will help.
Yes.
Not so much if you're smaller, but definitely if you're on hermitcraft level size, then moving
Yeah,
to
right.
one platform isn't too bad.
You can jump on some no-name platform, you'd still be doing all right.
Exactly.
You're at
So
the level of hermits, but that's another story.
yeah. Definitely a big tip though, just a general one, is when if you're streaming and there's no one watching, what a constantly repeated tip that I keep hearing is that just talk. Talk what you're thinking about. Talk
Yep.
about what you're doing. Like you don't necessarily have to bounce off anyone, just relay your thoughts. If you go silent and someone joins in, they're not going to be engaged, right? You
Yep.
might get the people that want to stay there for gameplay, but they'll get there, see silence, and then click back off and find someone else. So talk about what you're doing, talk about your thoughts, just lay it all on the table, just keep going. It's usually what I get.
Right, yeah. That's some good input actually. So we had a quick question from Marvin. He's asking FCD, what's the plugin called that you create organics? Is it World Edit?
What do I use primarily for organics?
Yeah, he's create organic structure, so I assume the organics you do.
Well, if we're talking organics, I primarily use Voxel Sniper because it's a lot of especially the erode tools, because you can do, it's almost like molding clay where you can push and pull blocks. And then you can change the colors afterwards you can use World Edit, but you can also use Voxel Sniper for that. So organics is mostly just I use Voxel Sniper. For structures, I use a lot of World Edit and just hand placing. Honestly, you can't go wrong with that. But when you're dealing with larger structures and things like that, get the big main shapes in originally, World Edit is the way to go. And there's a lot of tutorials out there. Just do some searching. Um, yeah, yeah. Look up Meg Ray. Look up. I know I have a few. Pearl, have you done any actual tutorials? I don't know if you have, or
I
Shanooty.
haven't though. People keep asking me to make them, but making tutorials on organics is so
It's a
hard.
lot of work.
It's like it's something that you kind of see, to your eye, what looks wrong kind of deal.
Right.
It's very hard to teach. It's kind of like drawing, right? You get better as you go along and you figure out, okay, maybe this leg looks a little funky. Let's redo that. And it's the same process for for organics, right? It's sketching but in 3D. So it's
Yep.
pretty hard to teach it, and that's why I always postpone it.
Yeah. It's hard to teach in a video, just a quick
Exactly. You can do like a
bite-sized video
stream.
that people can, it's something you would have to like, because I know you, Pearl, you're an artist as well, so like you have a lot of that background to start with. So moving into the Minecraft world, you had a lot of that just organically worked out.
Mm.
And my father was an artist, so he taught me a lot of stuff too growing up. So that I lean a lot on that. So to teach someone, it's just like you said, it's art. It's art when it comes to organics anyways. A lot of it is just straight art.
Yeah, great. I believe that answers your follow-up question, Marvin, too. So we've got another question by Cocoa Butter, which is upcoming ideas for series or streams. So anything you plan on for the future? What ideas do you have coming up?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas. I'm not gonna go into exact details of what I'm gonna do because I usually like to keep them a secret until they're released.
Mhm.
But you kind of play on what's going on at the time and like, okay, how can I theme this to something in Minecraft? And I got something fun coming out. I'm just especially excited about the collaboration build at the moment that I'm doing. It's such a great build, and I'm so proud of everyone on my channel for doing it.
Oh, that's fun to hear.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. I'm so excited for
Yeah.
that one.
I've been
Let's
sharing
hope that goes
screenshots to
well
like
as well.
Shanooty and FCD in our little Discord, and
Oh, it's so awesome.
I'm so proud of it.
You guys do not want to miss it. This isn't just me hyping things. This is legitimately, you don't want to miss it.
I'm feeling flattered now. Thank you, FCD.
Yeah, that is definitely one really cool thing when it comes to being a YouTuber and streamer too, is seeing people being able to engage with such a large audience. I've seen, for example, Gemini has done quite a few. Sadly, she's not here with us right now because she has final exams, which is a big pain in the butt. Everyone suffers from once in a while. But she's done quite a lot of community work and community builds on her channel, and watching those it's really fun to see people coming together to work on, art and projects like that.
It's
So
certainly
that's definitely
really
really
hard
cool.
to manage into a big project.
Yeah,
I've got one release at the moment, and it was just so messy. I mean, sure, it was a great build in the end, and it was a really fun experience, but the process in general, it was just not thoroughly worked out, and there was conflicting styles. One of the biggest problems when it comes to collaborations with so many people is that everyone builds so differently, and you
Mhm.
have to put this into one big build, and it's just so hard to manage and try and give everyone the same kind of idea. With my current one that I'm working on, I don't know, everyone, like, had different styles in how they made it, but yet it still worked together as an overall piece, and I don't know how, but it does work. And it's always just one of the hardest things when doing collaborations, but it adds another level of engagement to your community, and it's just as important as something like streaming, right? You're showing people that, "Hey, I'm human. Let's engage with you. Let's have a chat. Let's have some fun," you know? Instead of
yeah,
just uploading
definitely.
a video and being a silent creator. So, my
Yeah,
Discord server is open access, Boston, yes. Just wanted to answer that while he was asking.
we can actually probably get links for the different Discord servers later and post them in the event broadcast if you guys want to join communities. I don't know if Shanooty, do you have one as well?
Yeah, I've got a.
Yeah, you do. All right, so we can probably send all of those by the end of the panel so people can join and keep track of what's happening after. So we've got a quick question here from Rebel Yanka, who also says hi. Hi, welcome, or hello,
Hello.
thank you for being in the panel. So the question is, where are you getting your inspiration from?
Google.
Yeah, pretty much.
Straightforward.
I
Google
mean, you know,
images.
Google as a
you have
company or Googling stuff?
you have your thoughts while you're out and about, like, you know, suddenly it might just pop into your head randomly and go, "Oh, this could be fun." Like, you know, maybe you're out for a walk and you stared at a flower and you got the idea to make a castle. Alright, it's totally logical. Sometimes they just pop up, but Google
Yeah.
and what everyone's interested in at the time is usually the pretty big motivation factor.
Yeah, and getting ideas from other creators and what's working well for them. They play a big part for me, at least for inspiration and what I want to do on the platform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
same boat. I really enjoy seeing other people's ideas, and the inspiration isn't always, oh, I like that exact idea, I'm going to do it too. Most of the time, it's I see the passion behind what they did, and I don't know what it is, but it usually compels me to have an idea, and I end up just like flying with it. But if I just sit down and like I'm going to come up with an idea, I don't. I don't come up with an idea, and I when I see other people being creative, it doesn't even have to be Minecraft. Like I'm into music and stuff too, so I'll watch people like Andrew Huang and different YouTubers like that do music, and while I'm watching them do music, I get a build idea. It's weird. It's a thing. I don't know. It's just it's how my brain works, anyways.
I mean,
Twitter
That
is
yeah.
and Google
definitely a
Images
good
helps.
place. Twitter is definitely a good place too. Like, I'm
Oh,
just
Twitter too.
reading
Yeah.
the voice chat thing at the moment. You know, you can follow some inspiration Twitter account and they'll post like architecture or something, and you might go, "Oh, that's an amazing looking structure. Let's
Hmm.
play on that and make something my own out of it, maybe." Or, you know, I've got like my own little private Discord with just little me in it, and I've just written down like all the ideas that I've had for videos, and then maybe I can take two of those and combine them together into one, and it's like a mishmash. You like chuck a little bit of love potion in here and chuck a little bit of speed potion in there, and maybe you got something else. That was a really weird example, but yeah.
It made sense. I get what you mean by it. Definitely.
Yeah.
I honestly thought I was the only one who used to have a Discord channel for myself for like stupid ideas and used posting stuff in. But
It's
I'm
really
glad to
good
hear
for
I'm not
just,
insane.
file sharing and everything. My
Yeah, yeah.
computer is a mess. I've got 3 terabyte drive just almost filled up with just files and files and files, and it's just
Mhm.
this void of never-ending information, and when I want something, I might not be able to find it. I do organize it, but it's just handy to have, like, all the YouTube stuff in one spot, and you don't have to open, like, a Word document to get a list of your video ideas, right? You've got it there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've also got a notebook as well, so different places for different things, but the Discord channel is 10 out of 10. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Having a place to
Cool.
just write down your ideas, like that just pop into your head suddenly, is also a very good idea. So you might just be out and about and have an idea that just pops into your head. Having a place like a private Discord server to just chuck it down is a good thing, because you can come back in a couple weeks or months and be like, oh yeah, I had that idea, and then you can go ahead and work on that project.
Yeah, absolutely. I can personally say, even though I don't do YouTube or streaming specifically, I have a whiteboard in my room, and so whenever I use during the day, if I watch something or if I see something on Twitter, because usually if you see stuff on Twitter you like so much and you kind of forget about it. So usually if I see something really cool, I usually get up, write a little note on my whiteboard, and I collect a lot of these notes throughout the week, and then at like the weekend, I used to go through it and see like, oh hey, yeah, I remember that thing, and you kind of get motivation to do it. So, and just like Pearl said, she has a notebook. Having a visual representation, like a physical visual representation, is actually really good to just like, because usually when you get, at least for me, when you get inspiration to do stuff, it's usually when you're not sitting down and you're supposed to do stuff. So having it like outside of your screen and laptop or whatever you use, is really good for getting like in a different environment to get ideas and stuff. So we got a question from Kevisaurus. That's an OG guy. He used to do, I don't know when the last time he did a masterclass was, but he's really good at organics. So I'm gonna throw that out there. He asks, so what are you guys' thoughts on video length? Do you always try to go for that 10-minute mark for ads?
Personally, I don't try and go for it at all. It's kinda just whatever length the video ends up being. If it is, like, 9 minutes, though, I might push it for, like, the extra minute, but otherwise, that's a very rare occurrence for me, and most of mine either go over that anyway, or they're significantly under, and I just don't bother. Um, it's handy if you're doing it for a job, trying to get that 10-minute mark is probably a different case scenario, but because it's not my job, I'm kinda just like, let's just make videos and get the content out and cover everything essentially and not miss anything. So personally, no. But I know it's a goal for a lot of people who want to do it as a living. And it's quite important, to be honest. It makes such a big difference. So, you know. not me.
Yeah, for me, if I've put a significant amount more time into a build, uh, like some of my more recent ones, I will try stretch it out to that 10-minute mark, just because I've put in a lot more effort compared to my regular videos. But for other just casual videos, I'll just leave it to wherever it turns out to be, usually around 5 to 7 minutes.
I remember when 20 minutes was the mark, for especially Let's Plays from that was like 4 years ago. And that was a struggle. I remember trying to do those. And then I remember there was a period of time where shorter videos were better because you got better retention. And now over the last almost a year, about little over half a year, yeah, this 10-minute mark thing is the thing to do. And it's all about, I mean, in the end, YouTube's a business, right? So YouTube needs to make their money, and it's all about what keeps ads coming through, making money for them. And sadly, As far as the algorithm goes, I've seen a lot. I've seen 10-minute videos go better than less minutes. And do I focus on that? Do I make sure that whatever video idea I come up with, we'll make sure that we make that 10-minute mark? No. I have been, if I can, I will. If it doesn't ruin the concept of the video, I will try to push for the 10-minute mark. But in the end, it's about making sure the content's good and the wins will change. It's right now it's the 10-minute mark. That's a thing. But that it's only been like that for 7-8 months. And before then it was shorter videos were a little bit better. And then before that, ridiculously long videos were good. It'll always change. You just got to keep up with it. And I think Pearl's got the right attitude. It's you can't, at least at our size, you can't just look at it as a job. It's got to stay in that hobby category, and it'll make it so that you create better content in the end, because you're not burning yourself out to try to get yourself to do things that you know it wouldn't work for the content. But oh well, I guess I got to stretch this out to try to make it 10 minutes.
Passion is
Or-
so important when creating a video. Like, if you have no passion, your viewers can tell.
yeah,
It's
oh absolutely.
You gotta love what you're doing. I know Kev isn't here anymore, but he was saying that he's less inclined to click on a time lapse video that's over 10 minutes. So in the past, I uploaded 20-minute videos of just sped up building with music, right? And I would get bored of that too. I would watch my own stuff every now and then to check what's up, and it'll be like, yeah, this is really boring. So
Yep.
I personally kind of watch my stuff back and go, okay, what can I improve here for next time? And a big step that I ended up taking is that I add voiceover about my process and what I'm doing. So it kind of acts like a tutorial without being a tutorial, and a time lapse without being a really boring one that you're just sitting there with no engagement on. So I think that's pretty important for doing time lapses over 10 minutes because, yeah, I too would get bored if it was too long and I would skip to the end. So,
Yeah, usually I try to fill, like, normally my time lapses don't last more than 6 or 7 minutes at the most. And so if it gets to about 7 minutes, I'll try to fill those 3 minutes with just talking about the build, walking through it, things like that. I'll come up with more creative ways than just doing more time lapse, because yeah, 10 minutes of time lapse, that's boring. Unless it's like a massive, crazy, awesome build, but even then, it can get tiring. That's a lot of hype for 10 minutes straight.
yeah, I don't know how people watched my videos back then. I mean, my
Oh.
most
XP.
popular one is my
That's some
Wyvern
mood.
time lapse, and it's 16 minutes long, and it's just music, and I don't know how people watched it and are still watching it, but they are, and it's really strange, but, you know. It is what it is.
Right. Thanks for the insight on that. So I think we should do. This is going to be like, I wouldn't say the last question, but one of the final ones. So if people want to, if you have something they really want to know, you should probably post that now. But we have Lord Drip 1 asking, how do you push through a burnout? Quite a tough one.
Well, it's kind of a case by case scenario, I'd say. Sometimes I end up taking a break, and other times it's just like, just build something, right? I know a lot of people, they just stop building entirely, and then after a time, you just don't feel like building anymore at all, and then you just don't build. And I found with some scenarios, if you just push yourself to build something else and try and get the passion back in you again for what you've made, or maybe you've got a really good idea, you figure out an idea that you really want to make again. I've gotten burnt out pretty often, but it's finding that passion or spark, just an idea that you've gone, oh yes, I would love to build that. Like my queen bee builds, I hadn't built anything properly for, I don't know, anything organically anyway, for a good couple of months or so. And I just didn't wanna build anything, I couldn't be bothered. And then the bee update came out, and I was just messing around in the snapshot, and I'm just like, oh, I can make a bee. They're just a bunch of balls and some legs attached to them. So
Yeah, that's
that's
all.
yeah. I'm just like, oh yeah, that seems pretty
Then let's
simple.
make it
You
a
know.
dragon bee.
Anyone could do that.
It turned into a dragon hybrid bee because I posted in my Discord like, hey guys, I could make a bee. It's like really easy, just some balls. And they're just like, oh, you can make put some dragon features in it as a hybrid. I'm just like, that is amazing. And that, you know, that simple idea sparked my want to build again. So you might get burnt out for a little bit. You can take a break, definitely go for a walk, you know, find some more inspiration and maybe just start with something simple to get you back into it. Like for me, the dragon bee was just pretty straightforward. Take out the wings and it's pretty straightforward. But you know, just find that simple thing that you feel like you can achieve really easily. And then when you find how quickly it can come together, and that, you know, maybe you're inspired to make something else after that. So, you know, you kind of just either keep building or just take a break. It definitely depends per person for that.
Right. Great.
Well,
and I can definitely say. Oh wait, sorry. Do you want to say something?
oh, I was gonna add to it as well, but is that all right?
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Um, the biggest thing is, and you hear this thrown around a lot, but it's so true. Self care. Like she said, every now and again, you might need to take a break, and that's okay. But a lot of times, like if you're just sitting there burning out, you don't know what to do. Best thing you could do, like she said, go for a walk. Go. You know, find something fun to do that's away from your computer, that will allow you to clear your head a bit and get away from sometimes that's all it needs, and then you get back and you just do it and just get started. And you know, if you get started and you can't make it through it anymore, you're just so dead with it, then just take a break. You know, but the main thing is self-care, because a lot of times us creators, we push ourselves to the point where we burn out, where we would be so much more productive if we just took our time and not worried about everything all the time so much, you know? I know I'm guilty of that. Huge guilty of that.
Yeah.
Pearl can tell you in our little chat, I blow up over the dumbest things sometimes.
I know you personally can get stressed about trying to upload videos in a consistent time frame, and then
Yeah.
it leads to like maybe you dropped quality on your builds because you wanna get them out faster, and then you start to realize that, and then you just like, oh, I'm not enjoying building anymore. You know, you're doing it as a job that just keeps pushing out content, and you've lost your inspiration for what you've made, and you're just doing it so that you can get a video out. So definitely like the only thing with YouTube is that it's very difficult and that it wants videos out. That's what the algorithm wants. But if you're just building casually, you know, just take your time. Definitely can't stress that. You know, I've had this collab going for like 3, 4 months now, but it's you know, I'm proud of it. Whereas if I did a build really quickly and rushed it out, I'm not as proud of it. Like I personally, my Wyvern is my most traction, you know, for a video in all of my channel, but I don't actually like it. I'm not proud of it. I rush some pieces of it, and, you know, even though it's performed well, it's like a really depressing build, so
Yep.
it's,
Nothing's more
taking
depressing than
time.
the build that you didn't take any time on whatsoever, doing really well. And you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, and then a build you do love doesn't do well at all, and
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
doesn't, no one cares
okay.
about it. Yeah, oh, that's the worst. Nothing demotes me more than that. It's just a thing.
Yeah. Definitely taking
Yeah.
breaks is a good thing, and,
Yeah.
but it really depends person per person. Some, you know, some benefit from just keeping through it, right? You know, a lot of people say just keep at it, make something else small, just, you know, eventually you might come back out of it again. So it really depends on your mentality and what works best for you. So,
Yeah. And I'd want to say too, like Pearl mentioned earlier, passion is of course very important. You're doing this because you like doing it. That goes for any art form. You know, you decided to do art because you know you like being creative and such. And I think something that and this goes for, if you're a YouTuber or an artist or anything, that a lot of people forget is just appreciating their own stuff. Because of course you do this because you like it, and I find that sometimes I usually just take a step back, and if I build something, or if I've just made something, whatever, it can even be like for if you're in school, if you've written something cool. People often forget to just like step back, look at it, and really appreciate what you've done yourself, like hyping yourself off and feeling proud of what you've done, because that's like a very key aspect, to me at least, to staying motivated, that you make sure that you're doing this because of you. And if you're not hype about it, then what's the point of doing it? Make sure that, do what you like to do and appreciate yourself for doing it and for doing what you love. So I think we're gonna have the final question here, probably by Matrix Golden. It's already been an hour. This went by really fast, but it's been really fun.
It's been lovely.
So we Matrix Golden asked, what would you recommend for people getting into organics and things like that for the first time? This is a bit of a general end.
A general end. Getting into organics. It depends kind of the intricacies of that question. In terms of what we recommend, is that like programs, software, or just ideas in general? If you're talking about ideas in general, definitely ideas and process, of course. I definitely recommend playing around with Voxel Sniper and trying to sculpt something out of it, and maybe pairing that up with our inspiration topic from earlier, and having a look on Google or Twitter and going, okay, I see this this horse, right? And I know the basics of Voxel Sniper, so maybe you can try making a horse out of some sphere brush of Voxel Sniper, and smoothing that out and seeing what kind of shapes that you can make out of it. And everyone's organic is not going to be amazing the first time. um, Important thing is that you keep refining your process and your tactics for each build that you make. Whenever I make a build, I'm go, okay, this detail is kind of lacking. I could do this differently next time. And with each organic, you just aim to improve. But definitely, if you're starting out for the first time, just like if you like something, just try and make it. You can do a little small one by hands. Like I recently did a video on 10 Minecraft dragon sculptures, and most of those were by hand. So they're a small scale organic, and maybe you want to start small and then slowly get bigger as you go on, as you learn how to create shapes with blocks. But building small is, of course, a really big challenge for making shapes, and it could kind of get you started on the perspective on what is required to make a curve and what is required to make a leg with muscles. It's starting. So I guess starting small could help, and just getting the basics on the plugins that are mostly used for that, if you want to use plugins, of course. Do some tutorials. I know Gemini in the chat here does have a couple of tutorials to use. And Arcaniax as well has got some great plugins that you can use as well. Archeon.
Yeah,
That's my tip.
absolutely. And I can say, as a builder as well, something that's really important is, well, something that is good to start out with is finding someone or something specific that you like a lot. So like Shanooty said earlier, for example, he was inspired to start doing YouTube because of Pearl, which is a surprise, but a really cool thing. So yeah, if you find like a specific artist and you really like the way they do things, or if you find a really person that does like a type of organics that you really like, you just try to go for that and try to like learn and see what that person is doing in their process, and experiment that way.
That's very true. I know
Yeah.
I learned a lot about organics through Dr. Bond. So I was doing pretty basic organic work before I met him, and then he's like, "Hey, let's do a collaboration." I was pretty shocked at the time because I was like, "How? Why would you ask me?" But anyway, we did a collaboration, and I learned so much being able to work with him and figure out his process. And I I didn't really do placeholder blocks before then. That's a big thing I do now. Always do it in lapis or diamond blocks first, and then you can paint over it later. And just being able to have those placeholders makes it a lot easier to process, and you just learn from how other people build. Super handy. I know my first organic was like a
having other
horse.
people. I remember doing my first organic. I was just becoming friends with Gemini. Hi, Gem. And I got to a point where I built it. I thought I did okay. I showed it to her. She's like, "That's a good start." And I'm like, and but I appreciated that. That changed my whole thing. Like, she helped me through that, and we worked together, and I was able to figure things out. Like, having someone else, I think that is a big part of it. The other part of it is just do it. Don't like, how do I get started? Just start. Just make a ball. Start with a ball and start forming it. Just use voxel sniper, the erode tools. All you need is, you know, the BE, lift, and you can use the gunpowder and arrow, and arrow pulls it up and gunpowder pushes it down, and you just mold until you like it. Just play around with it, and don't be afraid to give it a go, because it's Minecraft. You can always undo. It's great, and definitely just work at it and play with it and figure things out as time goes on. And like they said, if there's someone that you look up to, or a friend of yours that knows how to do it, bring them in and be like, "Hey, what do you think? What should I do? What can I do better?" And they'll help. That's one thing I love about this Minecraft community, is everyone's wanting to help each other, and it's such a great place to be. Just saying.
I do want to mention real quick, in my process to learning curves and everything on organics, um, I was using a browser website where, it showed how to make a sphere by layer. And I kind of found over time that by making spheres from this website, it kind of just shows you how to make curves. And I think
True.
that's really important for doing organics. And I would definitely recommend, if you want to kind of get yourself adjusted to what a curve looks like in Minecraft, and how it can be made up. Like, I personally, um, I avoid diagonals in organics and really big, vast, flat spaces. And I try and, I bulk it out with some volume, and that's just personally how I learnt my curves. Just when looking at something from a bigger picture, you can fly out away from your build and go, "Okay, I don't think that muscle on its leg is going to exactly kind of just steeply go inwards at a diagonal 45 degrees," It's like, "Okay, gotta add few little blocks to kinda curve it more," and just making those sphere layers really helped get that eye for it in the end. And definitely by hand does help kind of give you that adjustment. I know whenever I'm making some sort of like 3D really bendy line, I don't actually like place it one block at a time and fly out and have a look at it. I kind of just spam blocks in the general direction I'm flying for what kind of curve that I'm thinking about. Then I fly out and go, okay, that can be pushed out a little bit more on its curve and make a bit more of a convex type of shape. And I don't know, it's just do whatever your eye feels like, but definitely build some circles. It helps. Plugins are great, but building by hand will help you learn the basics of how to get that shape right as well. So
That's one thing I appreciated about being around other content creators that do this stuff. Pearl is a hand placer at by heart. That she loves hand, and I'm Mr. Plugin. Arcaniacs, you're my man. Just saying. I live on that stuff, but I appreciate the different points of view, because I need to learn to hand place a little bit more, because things do come out better when I take the time to do that. But me personally, I can't get an idea out there by hand placing. It's like trying to sketch a perfect drawing from the corner and just making it perfect as you go. I need to have a giant mess first to try to work with. That's just the way I think, anyways. But
You know,
there's good on both ends of that, and that's what's so good about being around other creators is they have different perspectives, and it's a lot of fun to just be a part of this community. That's all I gotta say.
I definitely use voxel to sketch at as well with a really big
Yeah.
messy blob. Like, you don't want to know what they look like when they first start out. And the process though that I most enjoy when making on organic is actually like the texturing and the small little details that I get to do by hand. Like, I keep refining it, and it just adds so much more character into it. And, you know, if you see things like my bee and my wyvern, I did do a lot of the texturing by hands there, and it just adds so much more detail than just a brush. But it really depends what kind of style you're going for as well. I personally like to put in so much more detail for my builds, so I end up hand placing a lot of the coloring, but I love doing it, and it's so fun for me. So
Right. Well, we're going a bit over the clock right now. I think we answered most questions. I know that I need to go to sleep soon, so I don't die. But I want to say before we end the panel, of course, I reckon that some people might just go to the chill channel and keep on talking. But I want to say, yeah, it is Arcan. I want to say big thanks to both Pearl, Shanooty, and FCD for coming out here, being on the panel, and Gemini too. Unfortunately, you had your exams, which is everyone gets affected by that. It's not fun, but I hope you did well on those. We're doing well. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the panel. It was just a bit of, chill talking, answering some questions. I personally really enjoyed it. I learned some stuff myself as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Like I said, if you want to keep on hanging out, you can head to the chill channel above or anywhere really. But yeah, that's this panel for now.
cheers for tuning in. It's been fun.
That was a lot of